All right, 9 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I'm really getting into some of these new technological things. I don't know. I'm like a new kid all over again, Robin. Does that make sense? Yeah. And Jim George is here. He helps us understand this whole new world of technology and how this affects our entertainment choices. He's the owner of American Cable Services, and he's in the studio to answer your questions. And you are invited to call to be part of this show. The number is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-9622. Jim George, good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Good morning.
Hi, good to see you.
Excuse me.
You all right?
I am.
There's a lot of mall walkers. Well, there wasn't too many mall walkers here today, but I'm watching them through the door there, so I guess they enter other doors. They don't just come through this door.
They must, because there's not that many cars right behind your studio.
Yeah, right. By the way, I am into this new technology thing. I have ordered one of those Kindle Fire things.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So now listen to this. It's not even here yet, right? And Amazon sent me a letter saying if you would like to upload your iTunes music to your Kindle Fire, you can do it now, and it'll be on there when you get it, even though I've already tracked it. It's en route. FedEx has it. So I was like, really? Now how do I do that?
Yes.
So apparently it's the cloud thing, right? I'm not really sending it to my device. I'm sending it to the cloud, right?
Correct.
So it took 3 hours. I went to bed. I started it last night, went to bed. I woke up and said it was done.
Right. And when you receive it and you turn it on, it will be miraculously there, and they'll ask you to name it, like you want to name it Larry's Favorites or whatever.
Right.
And then you could go into it and open it up and segment it. You could say these are easy listening, these are rock, these are jazz.
Oh, no. I got all those things to do, huh?
Right.
Wow, nice.
I wired the Hampton Inn for their closed-circuit TV, the new Hampton Inn on 200, and I did their data and their phone. And I bought a little AM/FM radio, and I put it on your channel to test it while we were putting the sound system in. And the owner came over and had a little iPad, MPEG-3 little device.
Right.
And he says, I got 17,680 some odd sounds on here. And he put it on easy listening, and I plugged into it, and that was the background.
Oh, really?
And it's still playing today, all those different songs.
I bet it plays for a few years with that number. Yeah, the technology is pretty amazing. Like I said, I was loading the songs on there, and I was thinking, am I ever going to listen to all these songs? I mean, there's a lot of sound on there.
Exactly.
Do you know, something came up yesterday. I have a radio on my desk, and I think there's a Radio Shack here in the mall, right? I'm not really sure. So
yes, there is.
I'm thinking about walking down there and maybe getting a new desktop radio. So I was with Dan. Now, Dan is considerably younger than you and I said to him, do you guys at your age group still buy desktop radios? He said, yeah, I got one built into my system. So, well, that's not the same exact thing. I mean, in our day, a desktop radio was just simpler. It wasn't a boombox.
Right.
Didn't play anything but radio.
Right.
And just kind of sat it there and had AM and FM and maybe the weather band if it was more recent. But anyway, I guess do you think that's something that's going out of style?
Not really. I think radio will always be here. You know, and the technology is something we can talk about, but the bottom line is always about convenience.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
In other words, you want to downplay how it gets there or how it works. You really want to talk about being able to change channels or program the device for 6 channels, like your car radio. Remember your car radio where you could push 1 and that was pre-tuned, and 2 was pre-tuned,
right.
And you can. So the whole idea is just choose the channels you like to listen to. Now I'm sure you like to listen to WOCA, so it's probably always on one channel.
You're absolutely right. You're guessing right. Now let me tell you something about my listening tastes. I would listen to talk radio, and in fact, before I worked here, I did listen to WOCA.
I did too.
I like radio. I just love radio. But that's not to say that I shy away from music radio. That's the thing that Dan did overnight with John Tesh. I love that too. So when I'm driving at night, I kind of like listening to that, if that makes sense.
Right.
And when I'm driving across the country through other cities, I like to tune into their local stations.
I do too.
And it may be just because I'm older, but maybe that's why I shy away from the satellite radio, because I feel like I'll be stuck on one thing forever and never really get a taste of each city, if that makes sense.
I like the AM band. When I'm traveling, it drives my employees crazy because there's so much static. I go channel by channel, so I go 1317, 1380, 1390.
Right.
They say push scan. I said, no, if you push scan, some of the weaker stations won't come in.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So I go channel, and then you hear it, and it's all crackly and everything. But it reminds you of the days when you were younger. And you either did it by shortwave or you did it by AM radio.
There is what's the word when you're recalling things? A reminiscing element or something. There's a better word. You do have a phone call, Jim, and by the way, everybody's invited to call Jim. The number again, 622-WOCA. Good morning. You're on there with Jim George.
Yeah, good morning, I'm listening to you on my Bose radio, my Bose table radio.
Look at there.
Now, can I ask how much that costs? Because I'm in the market to buy just a regular new radio. And Bose
Bose is an expensive radio, but it's also got the CD player in it. It's about a $400 radio, but it sounds great. I mean, you get this big sound without having the big speakers.
That's what they say, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Jim. Appreciate that.
All right, have a good day.
Yeah, see, Jim's in the same camp as you and I think.
Yeah. Well, I have a small radio I keep. By that I mean it's almost the size of this box we're looking at right here, probably 5 inches by 5 inches by 5 inches, a little cube. And that's, AM, FM radio. I'm not into the big sound systems. Now, my wife is. She has a big, I forget the name of it right now. I'll think of it in a second. But it's got the CD player, and it's got the AM, FM, and it's got all the detachable speakers, the big boom box. But she loves it.
So are we at the point yet where we have a little station in our house, so to speak? Like this is our radio, and we tune it to the transmitter, which is maybe in the attic or something. Am I making sense with that question?
Yes, but you don't want to transmit in the air. But you can actually buy a transmitter from Radio Shack that will be either AM or FM, low power, low power.
Right.
And you could put your own CDs on there, let's say. And if you were out in the yard working and you had a headset on that would pick up AM or FM, you would be receiving your own CDs that you're playing in your house.
Is it good? Wow. I mean, does it work well?
It works well. It's so low power, though, that within 50 to 70 feet of your house, you would lose
like what the realtors use when they sell a house.
Exactly. You pull out front, and there it is.
You have another phone call. Good morning. You're on there with Jim George.
Yes. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
The Bose that I have, I bought the big one with the CD, the AM, FM radio. That cost me $1,000. I bought it through them.
Wow.
Yeah, it was $1,000. Yeah, and I love it. It just like he was describing, it's like having a big system, but it's only a couple inches by a couple inches. It's just unbelievable. So it's I highly, if anybody can afford it, rather than going with speakers all over the place and wires you can get wireless speakers too. But I would highly advise a Bose. I mean, it's just you can't beat it. The reason I called is, would you answer a question about a satellite dish?
Sure.
My dish has been out there for several years, and you get this dark fungus junk that's like on the roof of a house. It's starting to form on the dish. If that gets bad enough, would that be a problem in receiving a picture? And can I wash that off?
Yeah, it won't really affect it unless it gets really bad. I mean, it'd have to be almost like an insulation on the dish. But,
it's getting kind of bad in some of the spots. Yeah, I don't know what's that mold or whatever the heck it is. It's the same stuff you see on the roofs.
Well, can you reach it and do it by hand, or are you thinking?
Yes, I can because it's only about maybe about 8 foot off the ground.
Yeah, then do it by hand and be careful. Hold the dish while you're cleaning it, because you don't want to move that dish. That dish has been aimed.
Yeah, you'll lose the contact. Yeah, what would I use? Just like soap and water would be fine, or
any kind of detergent. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever come across a problem like that where a person does lose their signal because of a dirty dish?
No.
There
are other reasons. The LMB that's in the front of the dish, sometimes moisture gets in there. Sometimes a little tree frog will get in there.
Oh, really?
And that will block the signal. But as far as the dish itself, it's nothing but a reflector.
Yeah. About what is the a life of a dish like that? 10 years, 15, or?
Oh, easy.
Easy, huh? Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much. I guess I'm going to get some dish soap and go out in the front yard there and give it a bath.
Just be careful. Don't move it.
Okay, will do. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Could he spray it with the same thing you spray your shower with? And it'll take a few sprays. I mean, it doesn't usually happen right away, but...
Exactly. No, anything to kill mold and mildew, you just don't want to get a pressure cleaner after it.
Don't do it too hard.
That would move the dish, and it's aimed. The smaller the dish, the larger the look angle. So those dishes are very forgiving, which means it looks at a large spot in the sky. A big dish looks at a very narrow spot in the sky.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So people think they want to get a bigger and bigger and bigger satellite dish. That's okay, but then it has to be aimed more accurately than a small dish.
I didn't realize
that.
that.
Small dish is very forgiving.
By the way, you brought up the tree frog problem. We've had in our dish, the radio station dish, the wasp problem.
Oh, yes.
Well, wasps will build a nest in there. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George. Are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Hey, it's funny. We have, like Huey was talking about, a real nice radio system, our Bose, but when we go for a walk in the morning with our dogs, we take our $5 little AM radio that you can fit in your pocket so we don't miss WOCA.
Oh, that's nice.
Talk about a loyal listener.
Yeah, but when it's time to walk those dogs at 10 to 8, we take our little one that's real fuzzy and we walk down the road so we don't miss the morning show.
Well, thank you, Linda.
Yeah, but,
always appreciate that.
When it comes to the disc, I guess they had us, we used to have it mounted on the roof, but every time a storm came by, we would lose our signal. So what they did was they had us, DirecTV had us put in what they call a hurricane dish, and they mounted it on a pole on the ground, and it was a little bit bigger than the one they put on the roof.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know.
Right.
Better signal for storms.
Yes, less fade.
Yeah. Okay, so I hope the dish soap. So the dish soap just is going to make our dish look better. We're not going to get any better reception.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A big delay in her phone call, by the way.
So will that be improved then? Because I know people with cable, they usually don't lose their signal when there's a big storm, but the dish people do. Will that be improved?
Well, the way Cox Cable and just about every cable company receives their signal, it's off a big dish, but it's not necessarily because of the size it doesn't fade. It's because of the download frequency, which is around 6 gigahertz. But the small dishes, they're around 12 gigahertz. That's in the KU band as compared to the C band. And not to get too technical, what it means is raindrops at C band look very, very small, but raindrops at KU band look very big. And so you get enough rain, then it blocks
really?
the signal. So as long as you're receiving direct or dish in a KU band frequency, which you will, a heavy rainstorm will detour the signal.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Good morning, Jim. Hey, about few years ago, I bought one of those, little portable televisions. They're about the size of, I guess, a little bit bigger than these the little big type iPhone likes.
Yes.
And when they went to HD on with the televisions and stuff, that television no longer picks up stations anymore. So I guess that television is probably useless, huh?
Well, did you buy it for the purpose of carrying it around with you, or did you buy it for the purpose you just wanted a smaller TV?
No. It's one of those. I just bought it, for carrying around with me.
Yeah. Well,
it's like when you were to the beach or something like that, or wherever. I just bought it for that.
Okay. Well, it has an analog.
But I noticed
it has an analog tuner in it, and all the off-the-airs have gone to digital. So you could get a digital tuner, but you could not get a battery-powered digital tuner. So you'd have to plug it in. So then that makes you stationary, and you bought it for the convenience of walking around. Mm-hmm. So that would. But there are still a great number of channels that are still analog. About 2,700 channels right now nationwide are still analog.
Right. But a little television like that, as far as, if you're out walking or something, it doesn't work, right? It won't pick up anything.
Unless you came across an analog channel, which in Ocala area I think would be hard to come by.
Right, yeah, because I've tried that, and it won't get anything.
Right.
Now, it used to get about, when it was working, it would get about maybe 5, 6 channels, but now it won't get a thing.
Right.
Now,
you'd have to get that antenna I was talking to Larry about that you mount on your house if you wanted to make it a permanent. That would pick up the digital channels, and it comes with a converter, and then the converter would convert it to analog, but then that little set now would become stationary, and not mobile anymore. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little. It's like about like the size of a phone.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
By the way, the phone line is open if you wanted to speak to Jim. The number is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-9622. Sort of kind of a political edge to this next question, and it comes from Carl Reiner. Robin and I interviewed Carl Reiner, the TV guy. And it's not to say that he didn't love Ronald Reagan, but he had an issue. He had a bone to pick with Ronald Reagan, even though Ronald Reagan is no longer with us. Mm-hmm. And the bone to pick was that when Ronald Reagan deregulated the broadcasting industry, he literally enabled TV stations to carry, I think it was 9 or 12 minutes of advertising per hour or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it used to be limited by the regulations to 3 minutes per hour or something like that. It was drastically changed. And so Carl Reiner, as an entertainer, had a problem with the fact that now his TV shows the storyline had to be told in a shorter period of time.
Correct.
In order to do what he did for a living. So with that said, I was just curious, when we first started getting cable TV, pay TV, we were told there'll be no more commercials.
Yeah.
And yet, obviously, there's commercials and you pay for it. So I guess if there's a way to make money, people will do it.
Yeah, right now you're paying for the delivery of it, not, from the, let's say, Cox or Comcast or Bright House or the other ones, and not necessarily the programming itself.
Right.
There's a big dispute right now with Time Warner. They had an argument with CBS. CBS said, if you want to carry our station nationwide, you got to pay us like $2 billion a year. And so Time Warner said, okay, we just won't carry CBS anymore.
Yeah.
So not only is CBS off of Time Warner everywhere, but they're also taking it. There's other affiliates of CBS. Like, for instance, Disney owns ESPN, and Disney owns USA Network.
Right.
So if you were to have a dispute with Disney, you would lose that many channels.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Let's have another phone call. Good morning. You're on there with Jim George.
Good morning, Mr. George. Calling in reference to the high definition and the digital transmissions. Antennas, I've been seeing a lot of different antennas around for sale. And there's one that's like a flat box you can mount on the side of your house, which is supposed to pick up the high definition signal. And I'm a little skeptical about that. But the other ones I've seen that seem more, actually more authentic as far as a signal goes, is these small, looks like almost like a small old-fashioned radar dish, parabola, and it's on the like a master channel where you can rotate the antenna.
Right.
And you're supposed to be able to pick up a lot of the high definition signal. Now the thing is, they're saying that if you get the signal through one of these antennas, it's a little better or sharper picture because it isn't as compressed as the signal would normally be to go through, say, a fiberglass or a glass or a cable system. I'll hang up and listen to your reply on that. Have a good day. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. The flat antennas are excellent receive antennas, but they are somewhat directional, which means if you put it on your house and you aimed it in a southward direction, then all the channels to the south, 2, 6, 9, 35, and the list goes on, you would receive. But as far as channel 51 here in Ocala, or 20 out of Gainesville, or 31 out of Gainesville, you would not get those and if you did, it'd be very weak because your antenna is aimed. What I would do I would go to an RV place that sold RVs, and I would get me an RV omnidirectional antenna that you'd put on. It's basically circular, and put it on my house, and that gets reception in all directions, and it comes with a little preamp built in. And then you bring that down to your TV, and that would get you about 20 different channels out of the Orlando, Ocala, Gainesville, Inverness area.
Wow, that's amazing, right?
Yes.
How you doing? You look a little bit tired.
I'm tired today. I've been running like crazy.
I bet you have. Yeah, I know you're running late. Jim, how do we get a hold of you? What's your number?
Sir, my number is 854-9795.
All right. Don't work too hard.
Thank you.
Life is too short, right?
It is. It is.
But you bring entertainment to our homes. Thank you for what you do and for helping us understand this world of technology.
Thank you.
We'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. We're at Florida. A mix of clouds and sun today with a shower and thunderstorm around. Only in the morning, though, along the coast, the high 88 to 92. There can be a shower or thunderstorm in spots this evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy overnight, low 72 to 76. Periods of clouds and sun tomorrow with a thunderstorm in parts of the area, high 87 to 91. On Sunday, partly sunny with a shower or thunderstorm, high 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village